Underneath all the noise, beyond the anxious tick of the mind and the restless pulse of desire, there is a quiet invitation, one that whispers to you in the spaces between your thoughts. Relax. It starts now. Not tomorrow, not when everything finally works out, not when you've earned the right to rest. Now. This very moment. The entire universe hums to that frequency, to that effortless rhythm that asks for nothing but your presence. And yet most of us live as if we are constantly chasing a train that's already left the station. We run after peace, we strive for stillness, we try to control the uncontrollable. But the paradox of existence is this: the more you chase calm, the more it flees. The more you grasp for control, the more chaos dances around your fingertips. Because the truth is not found in effort, it is discovered in surrender. When I say relax, I don't mean sink into laziness or abandon your dreams. I mean allow the tension that has built up in your being, the strain to become someone, to achieve something, to prove something, to dissolve into the larger awareness that you already are enough. You have always been enough. You are the awareness behind every thought, the silence before every word, the stillness underneath every movement. This is not something you need to create. It is what you are. The universe doesn't force the sun to shine, it simply does. The stars do not struggle to glow, they burn effortlessly in their own nature. So why should you believe that your peace, your success, your love, your manifestation requires strain? It begins now, the moment you release the idea that it has to be difficult. Imagine for a moment that you are floating on a vast ocean. You are supported completely. The waves rise and fall, but you do not fight them. You move with them. That is the nature of consciousness itself. Thoughts, emotions, situations, they are all waves. The mind wants to label them, control them, steer them, but the ocean doesn't need steering. You are not the wave, you are the water. You are the substance of experience itself. And when you remember this, when you relax into it, the entire illusion of struggle begins to unravel. You realize that life has never been happening to you. Now the mind will protest. It will say, but I need to fix this. I need to make things right. I need to attract what I want. And yet that very tension is what blocks the flow. You can't hear the music of the universe while shouting your fears over it. The manifestation of your desires doesn't come from frantic thought. It arises naturally from the stillness of faith. When you finally stop trying to make it happen, it happens. When you stop asking when, the answer arrives in perfect time. You see, creation is not a process of doing, it's a process of allowing. And the art of allowing begins with relaxation. Close your eyes for a moment, not physically, but inwardly. Feel the pulse of life beating in your chest. That rhythm is the same rhythm that moves galaxies, grows trees, and pulls the tide to shore. You are that rhythm. You are not separate from it, and therefore nothing that belongs to you can ever truly miss you. Relax. What is meant for you is already on its way. Not through effort, but through alignment. You align not by fighting, but by feeling. The more you rest in your being, the more the universe rushes to meet you where you are. Everything you want already exists in potential, waiting for your vibration to match it. The bridge between desire and fulfillment is not built by work. It's built by awareness. Think of your thoughts as frequencies. Every feeling, every emotion is a signal you send out into the cosmos. When you feel lack, you broadcast lack. When you feel trust, you broadcast abundance. The universe responds not to your words, but to your energy. So when you relax, when you breathe deeply and know that all is well, your frequency shifts. You move from resistance to reception. You stop transmitting, "I don't have it yet," and start vibrating, "It's already mine." That's why relaxation is not passive. It's the most powerful creative act there is, because only in the absence of resistance does manifestation occur effortlessly. Have you noticed that your greatest ideas come not when you're tense, but when you're calm? Inspiration doesn't knock on a cluttered mind. It enters in the spaces you leave open. That's why so many people find their breakthroughs in the shower, or while walking, or gazing at the sky. In that moment, the mind relaxes its grip, and something higher speaks through. That's what some call intuition, others call divine guidance, or the voice of the universe. Whatever name you give it, it's the same intelligence that spins planets and breathes through you this very instant. It knows far more than your thinking mind ever could. And to access it, you must surrender the need to control. You must let go. Now, letting go does not mean giving up. It means releasing your insistence that things must happen in a specific way at a specific time. It means trusting that life is wiser than your plans. You can still hold your vision, still set your intention, but then release the tension around how it comes to pass. The soil does not demand the seed to grow. It simply provides the conditions. You are that soil, and your relaxation is the sunlight that allows your desires to bloom. There's an interesting paradox here. The moment you stop demanding that life go your way, life begins to unfold in your favor. The moment you stop needing love, it flows toward you. The moment you stop grasping for abundance, it begins to surround you. Why? Because need is lack and lack is resistance. You cannot attract from a frequency of fear, but the moment you rest in faith, knowing you already contain everything you could ever want within your consciousness, the mirror of reality reflects that truth. The outer world bends to the inner state. So when I say relax, I'm not offering a cliché. I'm giving you the key to creation. The mind loves to complicate. It loves to analyze, to calculate, to measure progress. But creation doesn't operate through logic. It operates through feeling. Your feeling is the prayer. Your emotion is the command. If you want to change your reality, change the way you feel about it. Begin to live as though your desire is already fulfilled, not in the distant future, but now. That feeling, that quiet joy, that inner security, that knowing is what shapes the world around you. You are the sculptor of form through the invisible chisel of imagination. And imagination works best when it is relaxed, not forced. That's why when you enter a drowsy state, a state of ease, a state between waking and sleeping, that's when you touch the creative power of the infinite. Infinite is... You might wonder, how can I relax when so much in my life feels uncertain? And the answer is beautifully simple. Because relaxation is not dependent on certainty, it creates certainty. When you breathe deeply into your being, you're telling your subconscious, I am safe, I am provided for. And when the subconscious believes that, it begins to rearrange the outer world to match that inner conviction. The subconscious doesn't respond to begging or anxiety. It responds to feeling. So every moment you choose to relax, you are reprogramming your entire energetic field. You are whispering to the universe, I trust you. And the universe, like an echo in a canyon, replies, there's something miraculous about that exchange. Because when you live in trust, you begin to notice synchronicities. Little signs, coincidences, alignments that seem too perfect to be random. The right person calls at the right time. The opportunity you've been seeking appears without effort. The thing you thought was lost suddenly finds its way back to you. And that's not magic in the fictional sense. It's resonance. You are broadcasting a new frequency, and reality must respond accordingly. It's law, not luck. But here's the beautiful twist. None of this requires you to strain. You don't need to visualize perfectly, repeat affirmations endlessly, or monitor your vibration every second. You simply need to relax into knowing. The more you trust, the less you try to control. And the less you control, the more everything flows in your favor. The current of life has always been pulling you toward joy. You've just been paddling upstream, exhausting yourself against your own current of blessing. Stop rowing. Let go of the oars. You'll be amazed how quickly life carries you exactly where you need to be. The truth is, the mind has been taught to believe that struggle equals value, that if something is easy, it's not real. But the universe doesn't honor effort. It honors alignment. Flowers don't force themselves to bloom. Rivers don't strive to flow. And yet both accomplish their purpose effortlessly. The same intelligence that guides them guides you. And when you trust that guidance, when you relax into it, you begin to live from flow rather than fight. You begin to feel that invisible rhythm that whispers, you are already home. You see, you've never been disconnected. Even in your most fearful moments, you were held by the same consciousness that dreamed this world into being. The illusion of separation, the feeling that you must do it all alone, is the root of suffering. Relaxation dissolves that illusion. It reminds you that there is no outside world apart from your awareness. What you see, what you experience, is your own consciousness mirrored back to you. So if you want to change what you see, change the quality of your awareness. Infuse it with calm, with gratitude, with love. And that begins right now. Not after you meditate for 10 days, not after you fix your problems, but right here, in this breath, in this heartbeat, in this word. Because the eternal now is the only moment that exists. Everything else is memory or imagination. The future you crave is not coming. It's emerging through you. You are its portal. So every time you pause, every time you breathe and relax, you open the gate wider. You let more of the divine flow through your human form. The more you practice this, the more you notice something extraordinary. You begin to feel connected to others on a deeper level. You sense their energy, their emotions, their thoughts. This is not imagination. It's telepathic resonance. We are all expressions of one consciousness. So when you quiet your mind, you tune into that shared field. You begin to feel others not as separate beings, but as extensions of yourself. Their joy becomes your joy. Their pain becomes a whisper asking for love. We should fight to require glory, duty, joy happens those moments. They are the consciousness is causal. Their pain becomes a zet. When you truly understand this, you realize that every thought, every emotion, every vibration is an act of creation. To relax, then, is to reclaim your creative authority. It is to stop being a victim of your thoughts and become the conscious dreamer of your reality. The dream doesn't control the dreamer controls the dream. But only when he remembers that he's dreaming. That remembrance begins with stillness, with ease. Relaxation is the secret doorway through which the infinite enters your experience. When you finally stop grasping for what's next, the miracle reveals itself in what's now. The universe has always been whispering, always arranging, always weaving threads of divine timing through your life. But you cannot hear it over the noise of your own urgency. You cannot sense its rhythm while your mind races toward what you believe must happen next. So you learn to pause, not as an act of avoidance, but as an act of power. You withdraw your attention from the storm, and in that silence, something astonishing begins to unfold. The universe starts speaking through subtle intuition, soft impulses, gentle nudges. These impulses, if followed, lead you directly into the flow of your highest timeline. You see, manifestation is not about control. It's about communion. It's about dancing with the current of life rather than resisting it. Every desire you hold is already known by the deeper part of you, the part that exists beyond time. The infinite consciousness within you has already fulfilled it in potential form. The moment you desired it, creation was complete. Your only task now is to align with that completion by feeling the reality of it, by embodying the energy of already having it. But you cannot embody anything while tense, anxious, or desperate. Those vibrations belong to lack, not fulfillment. And so to relax is to align with fulfillment. It is to say, I trust that what I desire is already mine, and I no longer need to chase it. Think of it this way. When you order something online, you don't keep checking the mailbox every minute, panicking that it hasn't arrived. You trust the process. You know it's on its way. You go about your day. That calm assurance is faith. That ease is manifestation in motion. But when you doubt, when you keep checking, when you worry, you interrupt the flow. You tell the universe, I don't believe it's coming. Relaxation, then, is not passivity. It's spiritual confidence. It's the vibration of knowing that everything is unfolding perfectly, even when your mind can't yet see the evidence. The most profound truth is that the outer world is a mirror of your inner world. It is consciousness objectified. When you feel rushed inside, the world rushes you. When you feel abundant inside, the world expands for you. When you rest in trust, life mirrors that trust through synchronicity and grace. This is why all great teachers, saints, and mystics have spoken of peace, not as the reward of life, but as the foundation of it, because from peace all things are possible. When the water is still, the reflection is clear. When your mind is still, creation is effortless. This is not to say you will never face challenges. The waves will rise, storms will come, but when you are anchored in stillness, you are not disturbed by their motion. You ride them, knowing they are temporary expressions of a permanent calm. Even in chaos, you can be at peace, for you have learned to find that peace within yourself rather than seek it in the ever-changing world. That is mastery. That is freedom. And from that freedom, new powers awaken. telepathy, intuition, the ability to sense what others are feeling. All of these arise naturally when the noise of the mind quiets. For in silence you return to the field of unity, where separation dissolves. The thoughts you once believed were private are ripples in a shared ocean. When you relax deeply enough, you begin to sense that ocean moving through everyone and everything. You can feel the emotion behind someone's words before they speak. You can sense their energy from across the room, or even across continents. Because consciousness is not limited by distance. In truth, there is no distance. There is only awareness, endlessly folding within itself. Relaxation heightens this awareness because it tunes you back to the subtle frequencies that your tension once drowned out. It's like turning down the static so you can finally hear the melody. The more relaxed you are, the more receptive you become. Ideas flow, intuition guides, synchronicities multiply. You begin to live guided by inspiration rather than obligation. Your life transforms from a list of things to do into a dance of things to be. And this being, this state of allowing, is where miracles become ordinary. Many people misunderstand relaxation as escapism. But to relax is not to run away from life. It is to fully merge with it. When you are relaxed, you are more aware, not less. You respond instead of react. You see clearly instead of through the fog of emotion. It is in stillness that wisdom arises, and in that wisdom you see that every so-called problem is not an obstacle but an invitation to grow, to trust, to deepen your understanding of who you truly are. Every challenge is the universe asking you, will you remember your power even here? And when you answer yes, not through resistance, but through surrender, the lesson dissolves. The outer condition rearranges itself because the inner vibration has shifted. Relaxation is not only mental, it is vibrational. It shifts your entire energy field into harmony. Your cells respond to your peace. Your heart rate slows. Your breath deepens. Your aura brightens. This is not spiritual poetry, it's energetic physics. Everything in creation resonates with frequency, and peace is the frequency of alignment. When you hold that vibration, you heal without trying. You attract without effort. You influence reality not through force, but through coherence. Coherence is when every part of you, mind, heart, body, and soul, is in agreement with your higher self. And the bridge to coherence is relaxation. So if you want to change your life, start with action, start with being. Relax into being, and from that being, inspired action will naturally arise. There is a vast difference between action born of fear and action born of flow. Fear-based action says, I must do this or I'll lose everything. Flow-based action says, I am moved to do this because it feels right. One drains you, the other renews you. When you live from flow, every step feels guided. Every encounter feels meaningful. Every delay feels divine. You are no longer racing against time, you are moving with it. And in this movement, you begin to notice that the universe is not separate from you. It's not some external power deciding your fate. You and it are one continuum of consciousness, endlessly reflecting one another. When you relax, the boundary between you and life dissolves. There is only the dance, only the unfolding. And in that realization, fear disappears. Because what is there to fear when everything is you, when even the unknown is simply a part of yourself you haven't met yet? This understanding is the essence of freedom. It's what allows you to love without possession, to act without attachment, to give without depletion. You stop living as a seeker and start living as a creator. You realize that nothing is ever missing because all possibilities exist within the infinite field of awareness that you are. You are both the dreamer and the canvas. The images change, the stories shift, but the awareness behind them remains untouched. That awareness is peace itself. And every time you relax, you return to it. There's a reason your deepest desires come to you in quiet moments. It's not when you're scrolling endlessly, or working tirelessly, or worrying about the future. It's when you pause. When you allow your breath to deepen, your thoughts to slow. That the voice of your higher self becomes audible. That voice doesn't shout. It doesn't demand. It simply knows. It speaks through feeling, through resonance, through subtle certainty. And when you act on that certainty, life unfolds in miraculous alignment. The people you need appear, the resources arrive, the doors open, not through pushing, but through presence. Relaxation, then, is the path of remembrance. It's how you remember that you are not a separate, struggling fragment of life, but the whole of life expressing itself as you. It's how you remember that you don't need to become worthy of abundance. You are abundance experiencing itself. You don't need to chase love. You are love radiating outward. You don't need to manifest success. It's the natural reflection of your inner wholeness. All of it flows from being, and being flows from stillness. When you relax into that stillness, you'll notice something subtle yet profound. Your imagination becomes more vivid, more alive, because imagination thrives in the soil of calm. It is the language of the divine speaking in images. Every scene you picture, every feeling you nurture, every state you dwell in, these are not fantasies. They are blueprints of creation. The universe reads your imagination the way an architect reads a plan. So when you imagine with ease, when you feel the wish fulfilled without effort, you are literally sculpting your future from the infinite substance of consciousness. It was past test that something... This is why relaxation and imagination go hand in hand. A tense mind cannot imagine clearly. It can only repeat what it fears. But a relaxed mind becomes a gateway for the infinite. It dreams boldly because it knows there are no limits. And that knowing transforms imagination into reality. You become the artist of your world, painting your desires into form with the brush of belief. So breathe, feel the life within you, let it move freely. You don't need to fix anything because nothing is broken. The moment you stop fighting, everything begins to heal. The moment you stop chasing, everything begins to arrive. The moment you stop searching for meaning, life reveals its meaning through you. That's the paradox. That's the secret. Relax. Not because you've earned it, but because it's your natural state. The birds don't ask for permission to sing. The sun doesn't wait for approval to shine. And you, too, were never meant to struggle for your own being. You were meant to flow, to create, to expand effortlessly. The universe is not testing you. It's expressing you. It's expressing you. It's showing you what you believe, what you expect, what you feel. And when you change those inner vibrations, when you return to peace, when you finally understand this, a deep exhale moves through your soul. You realize that you've been holding your breath for most of your life, waiting for something, someone, or some circumstance to grant you permission to relax. But that permission was never external, it was yours to give all along. The moment you say, "I allow myself to be at ease," the entire structure of tension you've built begins to dissolve. You start to feel lighter, more fluid, more alive. And in that state, the universe moves effortlessly through you, as you, for you. Everything you once thought you had to do alone becomes guided, graceful, and spontaneous. There's something profoundly magnetic about a relaxed being. People feel it even before you speak. Your calm becomes a silent message that says, everything is okay. And because energy communicates faster than words, those around you start to align with that vibration. Your peace influences others without intention. You become a living example of effortless power, a reminder that strength and softness are not opposites, but one and the same, when rooted in awareness. When you radiate this energy, you begin to see how unnecessary most of your former striving was. You realize how much of your suffering came not from the events themselves, but from your resistance to them. The universe was never against you. It was mirroring your state of consciousness. When you were tense, it reflected tension. When you worried, it echoed uncertainty. But now, when you relax into trust, the mirror shifts. You begin to witness beauty where once you saw chaos. You see that life was never withholding anything from you. It was simply waiting for you could receive. Receiving is an art. It requires stillness, openness, and surrender. The hands that constantly grasp cannot hold what is being given. The heart that constantly defends cannot feel what is being offered. To receive is to allow, and to allow is to relax. That's why the masters have always spoken of faith as a kind of rest, not as blind belief, but as deep inner ease, a knowing that all is well, because all is one. This is also why manifestation feels effortless when you're in alignment. When you stop demanding and start allowing, you stop sending mixed signals into the field. You no longer say, "I want this," while vibrating, "I don't have it." Instead, you vibrate, "I am it." And the universe mirrors that state instantly. What once took months begins to happen in days, sometimes in moments, because there is no resistance left between your desire and your belief. You become transparent to the divine flow, and through that transparency, reality reshapes itself around your consciousness. Many people spend their lives trying to control external circumstances without realizing that they're chasing shadows. The true transformation happens within. When you change your inner state, you automatically change your world. It's like tuning a radio. You don't fight the static, you simply adjust the frequency. Relaxation is that adjustment. It turns the dial from resistance to receptivity, from fear to faith, from effort to ease. And once the signal is clear, the music of life plays in harmony again. But what about the moments when relaxation feels impossible? When pain, loss, or uncertainty grips you so tightly that surrender seems out of reach, even then, especially then, you can soften. You can breathe into the tension instead of fighting it. You can let your awareness hold the pain without judgment, without trying to fix it. In doing so, something miraculous happens. The pain transforms. It becomes energy again. Energy that moves, that heals, that expands your capacity for love. Every contraction contains the seed of expansion. Every challenge invites a deeper release. So even when you cannot fully relax, you can at least stop resisting your inability to relax. That small act of acceptance is itself a doorway into peace. The truth is, everything you experience, joy, sorrow, triumph, failure, is the universe calling you back into awareness. It's saying, come home to yourself. Relaxation is how you answer that call. It's how you say, I am here, I am ready to feel, to see, to know. And when you answer in that way, life reveals itself as far kinder, more intelligent, and more compassionate than you ever imagined. You begin to see how perfectly every event, every meeting, every delay was orchestrated to bring you to this realization that peace is not something you attain at the end of the journey. It's the ground upon which the journey happens. To live in this awareness is to live as the observer and the participant at once. You watch life unfold with the curiosity of a dreamer who knows he's dreaming. You play fully, love deeply, act boldly, but without fear, because you know the dream cannot harm the dreamer. The outcomes no longer define you. They express you. You act not to prove your worth, but to explore it. Every experience becomes a creative expression of your inner state. That's the freedom of relaxation. It liberates you from attachment to results, so that every moment becomes its own reward. And when you live this way, you discover something even more extraordinary. Your presence begins to alter reality in subtle yet profound ways. Because you are no longer projecting fear or need, the field around you becomes coherent, ordered, magnetic. People are drawn to your energy. Opportunities align themselves effortlessly. Even the environment seems to respond. Traffic clears, paths open, timing perfects itself. This isn't superstition. It's the natural law of resonance. Your relaxed frequency harmonizes the chaos around you, just as calm waters still the ripples of a disturbed pond. This is why some people seem to live enchanted lives. Everything just works out for them. It's not luck, it's alignment. It's the consistent practice of inner ease. They've learned to trust life so completely that the universe mirrors that trust with constant cooperation. You can live that way too. The gateway is always now. Every time you take a conscious breath and release the need to control, you step into that flow. The mind will resist this truth. It will whisper, but if I stop trying, I'll lose everything. I'll fall behind. Yet the opposite is true. What you gain through tension, you lose through exhaustion. What you gain through trust, you keep effortlessly because it aligns with your natural rhythm. The mind believes it must earn what the soul already owns, but the soul knows that the moment you stop striving, you return to abundance, because abundance is not acquired. It's remembered. And relaxation is how you remember. You don't need to force this remembrance. Even the act of trying to relax can become a kind of tension. So instead of trying, simply notice. Notice your breath. Notice your body sitting or standing. Notice the space around you, the hum of existence that holds everything together. In that noticing, you'll find that relaxation begins to happen by itself. You don't relax the same way you don't digest. You allow it. It's a natural process, already built into your being. The more you let go, the more it deepens. Soon you'll start to perceive that even your thoughts are not yours. They arise and dissolve in consciousness, like waves forming and fading on the surface of an infinite sea. You are the ocean, not the wave. You are the awareness in which every thought, every sensation, every experience arises. This awareness is already at peace. It doesn't need to be taught to relax. It is relaxation itself. When you rest as that awareness, the mind's turbulence no longer disturbs you. The world's chaos no longer controls you. You remain the silent witness, the calm presence through which everything comes and goes. And here's the most extraordinary revelation. When you rest as this awareness, reality begins to reshape itself around your peace, because form follows consciousness, as within, so without. The world is not happening to you, it is responding to you. And when your signal is clear, when your vibration is one of serenity and certainty, life organizes itself around that frequency. People show up kinder, opportunities appear smoother, synchronicities increase. The universe bends toward your peace like metal to a magnet. So relax, not as a technique, but as your truth. Relax because you are safe in the vastness of being. Relax because there's nowhere to go, nothing to prove, nothing missing. You are the source from which everything flows. You are the awareness dreaming the universe into existence. And when you know this, not intellectually, but experientially, every moment becomes sacred. Every breath becomes divine. In that divine stillness, something awakens, something ancient, boundless, and profoundly familiar. It's as if you remember who you've always been, before the name, before the story, before the striving. You realize that all the running, all the searching, all the waiting for peace was simply consciousness pretending to forget itself, only to experience the joy of remembering. And in that remembrance, the illusion of urgency dissolves completely. You no longer chase the future because you see that the future was never separate from the present. It was always hidden within it. This moment right now contains everything. Every possibility, every version of you that ever was or ever will be exists here in potential. When you relax into the now, you access that potential. You become the doorway through which infinite realities can express themselves. The more deeply you surrender, the more vividly life expresses through you. You find that you don't have to go out and make things happen. You simply have to become the state in which they already exist. The law of assumption, the law of vibration, the law of consciousness, they all speak to the same truth. You are not manifesting by doing, but by being. You assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled, and the universe rearranges itself to reflect that assumption. But assumption is not achieved through strain. It is achieved through rest, because only in stillness can you feel something purely. Only in peace can you embody the frequency of your desire without distortion. Then come freedom, because only in peace can you embody the frequency of your desire without this. If you want love, rest in the feeling of being loved now. If you want abundance, breathe the feeling of security now. If you want clarity, relax into the knowing that you are already guided. The mind will try to complicate this. It will say, but how? What if I can't feel it yet? And the answer is beautifully simple. Don't force the feeling, invite it. Create the conditions for it to arise naturally. Slow your breath, loosen your body, smile softly, even if you don't yet know why. These small acts of surrender begin to tune your frequency toward the reality you desire. And as your frequency shifts, your world follows. You might notice, as you begin to live this way, that time itself feels different. It no longer rushes or drags. It unfolds in perfect rhythm with your state of being. When you're tense, time contracts. When you're at ease, time expands. This is because time is not a fixed measurement. It's a psychological perception that bends around consciousness. The more you relax, the more life slows to meet you, and everything begins to arrive precisely when you need it. You stop being late for your destiny. This is also the gateway to higher communication. When your mind is still, your awareness becomes an antenna. You begin to receive impressions not through effort, but through resonance. You think of someone and they call. You dream of a place and soon you find yourself there. You feel a pull to go somewhere, and that movement leads to a new opportunity. This is not coincidence. It's coherence. It's the natural telepathic nature of consciousness operating through you. Everyone is connected through the same field of awareness. Thoughts, emotions, intentions, all are vibrations that ripple through the collective. When you relax, your personal frequency harmonizes with the universal field, and communication becomes effortless. You may even notice that people start reflecting your inner state more accurately than ever before. You think peace, and they calm down. You feel love, and they soften. You imagine abundance, and they offer opportunities. Without a word spoken, the energy you carry speaks volumes. You begin to understand that true influence is not about persuasion or power, it's about vibration. The calmest person in the room holds the most energy. The most relaxed individual directs the tone of the environment, not by control, but by coherence, because coherence is contagious. And the more deeply you embody it, the more the world organizes itself around your calm. This is why entire spaces can shift when one person walks in with presence. It's not charisma, it's energy. It's the power of alignment made visible. And so your task becomes beautifully simple. Stay relaxed. Not as avoidance, but as mastery. Stay relaxed when others panic, and your clarity will guide them. Stay relaxed when faced with uncertainty, and life will show you the next step. Stay relaxed when your desire seems delayed, and you will magnetize it faster. The secret is that reality responds instantly to inner stillness, because stillness signals completion. The universe recognizes peace as a sign that the creation is already done. This is the same principle that governs all spiritual laws. What you feel now becomes your experience later. But later is just a projection of now. Therefore, now is everything. So if you want a future filled with ease, live in ease now. If you want love that feels divine, feel divine love now. If you want abundance to flow endlessly, rest in the feeling of already being provided for now. Relaxation is the bridge between the seen and unseen, the imagined and the manifested. You will notice, as this becomes your natural way of being, that people will ask you, how do you stay so calm? And you'll smile, because you'll know that it's not about trying to stay calm. It's about remembering that calmness was always your original state. Babies don't worry about where the next breath comes from. Flowers don't rush to bloom. Nature itself is perpetually relaxed. It trusts its timing, its process, its purpose. You too are part of that same divine nature. Your relaxation is not an escape from responsibility. It is your return to harmony with the entire cosmos. In that harmony, something extraordinary happens. You begin to feel the pulse of creation itself. You feel the heartbeat of the universe moving through you. Every inhale feels like receiving, every exhale like giving. Every moment becomes a prayer, not of words, but of presence. You understand at last that manifestation is not about asking for things. It's about participating in the rhythm of life as it already is. It's about joining the flow instead of resisting it. And then the miracles begin to multiply. You'll wake up one morning with a sense of inexplicable joy, and later realize that something you desired has manifested effortlessly. You'll think of a question, and the answer will arrive through a stranger, a song, or a sign on the street. You'll notice that the more relaxed you are, the more the universe seems to anticipate your needs before you even voice them. You'll think of a question, and the answer will arrive through a stranger, a song, or a sign. But the universe seems to anticipate your needs before you even voice them. That's because you and it are one consciousness playing two roles. The giver and receiver are the same being. Relaxation simply removes the illusion of separation. It is in this unity that the true meaning of love is revealed. Love is not attachment. It's awareness recognizing itself in another form. When you relax deeply enough, you feel this love everywhere, in the wind, in the laughter of strangers, in the silence between words. You realize that the universe has always been in love with you because it is you. And as this realization deepens, your entire life becomes an act of devotion, not to some external deity, but to the divine within all things. From this space, you don't need to seek motivation because you become inspiration itself. Your energy uplifts others without effort. Your words carry weight, not because of intellect, but because of resonance. People feel truth when you speak from this stillness. They hear the silence between your words. That silence communicates more than any philosophy ever could. It transmits peace directly. So let yourself be that transmission. Let relaxation become your message to the world. Let your ease remind others of their own. You are not here to struggle through existence. You are here to embody the joy of it. You are here to remember that the entire cosmos is a celebration of being. Every star, every wave, every breath is saying the same thing. It's okay. You can relax. It's all unfolding perfectly. This understanding doesn't mean life will always look the way your mind prefers. Sometimes relaxation will mean accepting change. Sometimes it will mean releasing what no longer fits. But even that release is an act of grace, because it makes room for something greater. The universe never takes away, it transforms. It evolves you toward alignment with your highest good. And when you trust that process, when you relax into it, you discover that even endings are beginnings, wearing a different disguise. Breathe again. Feel the ground beneath you. Notice that everything is supporting you. The floor, the air, the gravity, the life itself. You are carried by existence without needing to earn it. Every breath is given freely. Every moment is a gift. And when you realize this, gratitude naturally arises, not as a forced practice, but as a spontaneous recognition of the miracle that is always here. Gratitude and relaxation are twins. Gratitude dissolves resistance. Relaxation amplifies gratitude. Together they open the floodgates of manifestation. When you're grateful, you're aligned with abundance. When you're relaxed, you're receptive to it. That's why every great creator, every mystic, every enlightened being radiates both qualities effortlessly. They have learned the secret of the universe. You don't create by force. You create by resonance. So let this moment be the moment you finally stop fighting with life. Let it be the moment you say, I trust. The moment you surrender, not in defeat, but in mastery. Because when you stop trying to control the flow, you become the flow. And when you become the flow, there is no resistance left between you and your infinite potential. The river does not fear where it is going. It knows that every curve leads to the sea, and you too are headed toward your own ocean of fulfillment. Relax. It starts now, not as a concept, not as a practice, but as the most natural expression of who you truly are. You have searched long enough. You have tried long enough. The door has always been open. Step through it, not with effort, but with ease. Let the universe show you what it can do when you finally stop interfering. And as you let go even deeper, the world begins to shimmer with a subtle aliveness that was always there but unnoticed. Every sound, every color, every texture becomes vivid, as though the universe is whispering, "You see me now." The trees seem to breathe with you. The wind feels like a conversation. You begin to sense that you are not standing in the world. You are the world, momentarily aware of itself. And in that recognition, you understand that separation was only a temporary dream, born of tension. Relaxation dissolves that dream. You see, when you relax, you come back into rhythm with everything that is. You align with the pulse of creation, and life moves through you without resistance. That's when coincidences multiply. Not because you're lucky, but because you've stopped blocking the natural order. The universe has always been conspiring in your favor, but it needs an open vessel, a relaxed mind, a receptive heart to deliver its gifts. And the moment you become still enough to receive, you realize how abundant, how intelligent, how exquisitely organized reality truly is. You begin to understand that manifestation is not about getting what you want. It's about realizing that what you want has already been given. You just have to tune your awareness to the frequency where it exists. That frequency is peace. Peace is the vibration of completion. And the moment you feel peace, even for an instant, you become magnetically aligned with everything that belongs to that state. Relationships that nourish you, opportunities that fit your path, moments that feel divinely timed. Relaxation is not laziness, it is conscious receptivity. It is the recognition that you are an instrument being played by something vast and loving, And your only role is to stay in tune. You tune yourself not by striving, but by releasing discord, by letting go of the mental noise that says you must struggle to be worthy. Worthiness is not earned, it is remembered. You were born as an expression of the infinite, already complete. You cannot add to that completeness by effort, but you can obscure it by tension. The moment you let go, life rushes in to meet you. The very energy you were chasing starts to pour through you effortlessly. You realize that the universe has never been withholding anything. It was your resistance that created the illusion of distance. You were never waiting for divine timing. Divine timing was waiting for you to relax. And once you do, a new intelligence takes over. You start to move without hesitation, speak without rehearsal, act without fear. Your intuition becomes your compass, your imagination your map. You begin to live from the inside out rather than from the outside in. And that's when you discover the secret. All outer experiences are reflections of your inner atmosphere. When you cultivate calm within, peace appears around you. When you rest in abundance internally, your outer life arranges itself to match that truth. There is no greater creative act than to feel good now. To rest in the feeling of fulfillment before anything changes, that is the essence of manifestation. Because feeling is creation. You think it's the thought that creates, but thought alone is lifeless until it is infused with emotion. Feeling gives it power, and the most powerful feeling in the universe is not excitement, not even passion. It is peace. Peace says, it is done. You don't need to visualize harder or affirm longer. You only need to feel the reality of your wish as though it were already here, and then let go. Let it go completely. Because once you've assumed the feeling, it's no longer your job to make it happen. It's already set in motion in the unseen. Your only task now is to relax and let the bridge of events unfold. And that bridge might surprise you. Sometimes it leads you through experiences that appear opposite to your desire, only to deliver you exactly where you need to be. Don't panic when things seem to fall apart. They are often falling into place. The universe rearranges reality according to your state of consciousness, not your temporary emotions. So when you hold the state of peace long enough, the outer world must conform to it, no matter what appears in between. This is why the great masters could sleep through storms, why the enlightened ones could smile amidst chaos. They knew that what's real cannot be threatened. They knew that the world is not happening to them, but through them. They had relaxed so completely into being that even the winds of change could not shake their center. You can reach that same state, not through years of meditation or endless practice, but by realizing it's already within you. The calm you seek is the one observing your thoughts right now. You don't have to silence the mind. You only have to notice that there's something beyond the mind that is always silent. That's who you are. The witness, the awareness, the stillness behind every movement. When you rest in that awareness, the game of life becomes lighter. You stop fighting the currents and begin to surf them. You laugh more easily, love more freely, create more boldly. You're not afraid of failure because you understand that every apparent setback is just consciousness exploring a different angle of itself. You see that the entire purpose of existence is experience. Play. And the more playfully you approach life, the more life plays with you. It sends you synchronicities like winks from the universe, little reminders that you're in harmony. You think of a song, and it plays. You dream of a place, and suddenly you're invited there. These aren't miracles. They're the natural result of alignment, telepathy, intuition, serendipity. All of these are expressions of one field, one mind communicating with itself. When you're relaxed, you tap into that field effortlessly. You start to hear the whispers of guidance that were always there but drowned out by noise. It's like tuning an old radio. When the static fades, the music is revealed. And you realize that guidance was never missing. Your signal was just cluttered with interference. Now imagine what life becomes when that interference is gone. Imagine moving through your days guided by clarity, supported by timing so perfect it feels supernatural. Imagine knowing without doubt that everything happening is moving you toward expansion. That is not fantasy. It's reality, experienced from alignment. And alignment begins with relaxation. Every great breakthrough begins with a pause. Every revelation arises from stillness. The moment you stop pushing against what is, the higher intelligence of life can move through you. That's when solutions come not as thoughts, but as downloads, complete intuitive knowings that bypass logic entirely. That's divine telepathy. Your higher self communicating through feeling rather than thought. So when confusion arises, don't fight it. Relax into it. Feel its texture, its energy. And you'll notice that the confusion begins to dissolve, revealing clarity underneath. Every emotional state, no matter how dense, contains its own liberation when met with awareness. The energy of fear, when felt without resistance, transforms into power. The energy of sadness, when embraced, transforms into wisdom. The energy of anger, when understood, transforms into passion. All of it is fuel for creation if you stay relaxed enough to let it move through you. Relaxation allows energy to flow. And when energy flows freely, you become unstoppable. You stop leaking your power through worry and start channeling it into creation. You stop reacting to life and start directing it. You stop surviving and start thriving. You stop behaving through threats, and then something miraculous happens. You stop identifying as a person in a world and start recognizing yourself as the consciousness dreaming the world. You see that your desires are not separate from you. They are the universe's desires expressed through you. The wish to expand, to love, to create, it's not personal. It's cosmic. So when you feel an urge, a vision, an inspiration, don't question it. Trust it. It's life seeking to express itself in new form. Your only task is to allow it, without tension, without doubt. You are not here to force creation. You are here to let creation flow through you. When you live this way, you move from effort to effortless expression, from doing to being, from struggle to flow, and life becomes what it was always meant to be, an exquisite dance between form and formlessness, matter and imagination, seen and unseen. Everything begins to make sense. Every challenge reveals its hidden perfection. Every delay turns out to be divine timing. Every encounter becomes sacred, because you're finally looking through the eyes of peace